gave Benghazi's stand-down order in comments that went largely unnoticed. Missouri Congresswoman and Wagner are directly blamed President Obama for ordering the stand-down which facilitated the assault on the United States consulate in Benghazi. Wagner was asked by talk show host Dana Loesch, "Because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas with similar responsibilities and similar missions, who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?" "The President of the United States," responded Wagner. The White House has been scrambling to avoid the question of who gave the stand-down order ever since whistleblower Greg Hicks, who was number 2 to Ambassador Chris Stevens, testified that the United States Special Forces were ready to board a plane in Tripoli, but were prevented from coming to the aid of those under assault inside the consulate. Hicks revealed that after Stevens had been killed but while the attack was still ongoing, the Libyan military agreed to fly their C-130 to Benghazi and carry additional personnel to Benghazi as reinforcements, including the United States Special Forces, but that a call came through from Special Operations Command Africa saying, "You can't go now, you don't have authority to go now." They were told not to board the flight, so they missed it. Hicks said. In the hours after the stand-down order was given, 3 more American diplomats were killed by terrorists who laid siege to the consulate. The Obama administration denies that any kind of stand-down order was given, a claim that rings hollow given the White House's attempt to cover up the nature of what happened in the days after the attack, claiming instead that it was a protest sparked by a YouTube video. It was also recently revealed that the State Department hired Al-Qaeda-linked militants to defend the diplomatic mission in Benghazi that was later attacked. State Department officials, who blocked efforts to help Americans under assault, later tried to hide Al-Qaeda's involvement in the attack. As we have exhaustively documented, the Obama administration's support for Al-Qaeda-linked militants in Libya, which led to the toppling of Colonel Gaddafi, directly contributed to the attack on the consulate and the death of Ambassador Stevens. The very hospital that Stevens was taken to in the last moments of his life was run by the same terrorists who attacked the consulate, and who had been empowered as a result of the White House's military intervention in Libya. Despite some predicting that the Benghazi cover-up could lead to the impeachment of Barack Obama, an almost identical situation is now unfolding in Syria, as a result of the White House's support for Al-Qaeda terrorists in the pursuit of regime change. Despite the fact that militants in Syria have openly espoused their hatred for the United States, burning American flags in public, while praising Osama bin Laden and glorifying the 9/11 attacks, the Obama administration is preparing to send them heavy weaponry. A growing body of evidence also suggests that the entire purpose of the consulate in Benghazi and Ambassador Stevens' role there was to oversee clandestine arms shipments to Syrian rebels.
And last quick question I have for you, Congresswoman, because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas in similar with similar responsibilities and similar missions. Who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
With similar responsibilities and similar missions, who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
With similar responsibilities and similar missions, who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
With similar responsibilities and similar missions, who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
With similar responsibilities and similar missions, who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.